See, so we've talked about the nature of mind and the mechanics of consciousness, and when you look at various teachers, the main teachers in our world today, they're all at such different levels of consciousness and expression and how they teach, and would love for you to reflect on that.
Oh, this is big subject nowadays. I am in, and remember when we talked about the Latifa of Ibrahim and breaking the idols. I am now playing with that, the idols.
Well, you could talk about the dead ones if you want.
Yeah, the dead ones, the living ones, all whatever I can mention. And the intention is not to bring them down. The intention is to awaken the students, and even them, if they can benefit from this message. I'm grateful that we as whoever, seekers, teachers, ordinary people, all of those things, innate within us is abundance and limitations. So many of those teachers who have attained to higher state of awakenings and realization, they come with a lot of abundance. This teacher is different from that teacher. This teacher brings this aspect and that teacher brings that aspect, which is really beautiful. But they also, their limitations come into play. Yeah. And this limitation is, of course, due to a variety of reasons. One of it is that their soul evolution. Yeah. Some are very ancient ones, awakened long time ago, and the field of awakening and enlightenment is very excessive to them, and they bring with them a lot of wisdom and love and insight. So they are very spacious, and they are very open, and they are free from even the prejudice of enlightenment that we started with long time ago, one of the videos, and they don't become absolutists. They realize the being as the being is there. Enlightenment is necessity to awaken from the madness that we are here. But there is also much more than just the experience of enlightenment. You wake up in the morning, it's not just you're sitting in the bed and said, I am awake, I'm awake, I'm awake. You're going to go take a shower, you're going to make your breakfast, you go do your job. There's so much to do. And some get stuck into obsession about the enlightened state. And they want to attribute everything in existence that's happening to that state. And some of them are so genius, I get stunned by their geniusness, I remember at one time there was this man who went to a sultan in Arabia, king, and he said to him, Your Highness, Your Majesty, I have developed a skill, really amazing skill, Can I show you? He said, okay. So everybody in the court watching him, he went and put a needle in the wall and stood a distance from it and took another needle and throw it in the hole of that needle. And it went there. Then another needle in the hole of the second needle, and a third needle, 100 needles, all of those things. And everybody, because he could center, he could be like in the Zen state, impeccability, and aim well and mesmerize the field. And everybody like, wow, so much impressed. And the king said, give him 100 golden pieces and whip him 100 times. They said, the gold we understand, you want to reward him for this. Why whip him? He said, to waste such a talent on such an act. It took years to have the centeredness to do this. He could have used this centeredness for something much more evolved and all of those things. So sometimes because of our preferences, we get obsessed as teachers, as gurus, all of this, with one view, especially the newly awakened ones. I'll give example, and may God forgive me, and may I be saved from the attacks that's going to come from my students and from the Sannyasin community.
Oh dear. Okay.
Okay. I've known about Rajneesh, he used to be called, then he was called Osho, since 75. In fact, I went to India to see him. I was so fascinated by his eloquent and his speech and clarity, and was so beautiful. He is really one of the most fascinating talkers, and his realization is immense, really beautiful. But
you spent time in Pune?
3 days I spent in Pune, then I left. It was, to me, it was a madhouse. You know, I saw him, and I had in his presence. I loved his emanation and his presence. And I was a bioenergetic therapist, so I looked at him. I see he's locked up in his pelvis. His head was so open, his heart was so open, but everything that was in in the head and in the heart that was not dealt with was sunk in the pelvis and locked it up.
Okay.
Distorted anger, fears, grandiosity, sexuality, perversions, all there.
Oh, there, right.
So after 3 days, and the whole center was just full of people just crazy, having sex behind the trees, under the trees, above the, all over, So me and our friends said, no, he's beautiful. But maybe there were so much Westerners going to India. And we thought maybe he is really trying to get their sexuality out of their entrapment and cultivate higher sexuality, maybe tantric and all of those things. So we gave him an excuse, but I left. I couldn't be there. I couldn't all of that. I knew something was wrong, wrong. And yet I love the clarity and the beautiful and the really all of those things. Rajneesh, for example, even highly enlightened, but was enlightened from the heart and the head immensely, but the pelvis floor was not. Everything that was in his unconscious that was not dealt with was transcended and transformed into realization and insight, sunk in the unconscious, and he had the community play what he was repressed about: perverted sexuality, rebelliousness, going against the systems in the world, and all of those things. And they suffered a lot. They really suffered a lot. And I worked with a few of them, and was really amazing, and still amazing to see the extent of the distortion that happened. It was an incredible phenomenon that on the surface is one of the most loving community, sweet and bubbly and loving dovey, all of those things. And under the table, beastly, shredding, hateful, destructive activities, dark, very dark. And for example,
Are you talking about sannyasins or
Sannyasins.
Rajneesh and his leadership team?
Sannyasins and his leader team. I will not go into about the activities of what was happening in the leadership team, all of those things, immense distortions and immense things that he didn't deal with, and he had them play it for him. But one major thing that happened that led to so much distortion, in my understanding, in my perception, is that Rajneesh was a 7 on the Enneagram. Okay. So he was very open mind, very intelligent, very able to see the different systems. He didn't get lost in the system or that system. And he saw those systems as idols, whether political scene systems or religious or spiritual or social. He was really able to see how humanity got lost and built idols and worshiped the idols. And each system was a system, and this system was a representation of a certain aspect of being. Zen does reach enlightenment this way, Sufis reach enlightenment that way, Christian this way. They were all different vehicles, different manifestation, different archetypes, that if you take the system and adhere to it, you will reach a vehicle that will take you to your source and bring you back. Okay. So what Osho did is that he saw those systems, and he recognized that all those systems are veils on the true nature, on being. And it's true. Islam, Christianity, all of those things, in one level, they are veils. They are, they block even the seeker from reaching it. Like in Islam, for example, to say you can reach Allah is like sin. And many Sufis got killed because they said, I reached Allah and I and Allah are one and the same. They reach union with the absolute. And the Tibetan says, this is enlightenment. This is normal, you know. And then the Buddhists or Tibetan have a system. If you go through it, then you go through certain gradations.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful. It's like a ladder, but it also conditions you. You become conditioned in that way. That's why even the Dalai Lama said, you know, like, we need to drop the old systems. We are a new age now. We need to bring a new system that leads to enlightenment, and we need to create vehicles that suits the modern time. You know, we cannot use the old vehicles, and you know they are beautiful, but they are, you know, they are like maybe clunkers.
Yeah,
you need like
outdated.
an iPhone. Yeah, outdated. You know, instead of old phone, we have an iPhone.
Mhm.
He tried to do that, and of course most of them said, no, we need to preserve the tradition, which is also beautiful, but it's a tradition. It is a way to reach somewhere, you know. And the reality is that any of those traditions, it's like, you know, I'm looking at the sun now coming through the window, and from it coming millions of rays. If I ride any of these rays, if I have a little spaceship and I ride, I will reach the sun. And there are millions of rivers coming, and all those rivers go to the same lake, you know, to the same ocean. So the ocean is there, different rivers, different system comes for different society, for different time. We need to honor the time, the condition, the people, the age, the stage, the development, and not to throw the baby with the bathwater. And not to idealize the absolute is the thing and only thing there is. We need to know the creation. We need to know the mechanism of creation. We need to know how this complex system is here. Not all the time go to the absolute and go to the absolute and go to the absolute. This becomes escapism. This becomes, you know, absolutism. The absolute is always there, and they attribute everything to that, and they miss on so much. So what Osho did, for example, he saw those systems and he broke them down, one after another. He saw that yes, they are talking about the enlightenment, but they have this rigidity and this and this and this. In doing so, he demolished so much structures in his students and in the human collective without replacing them by what is the origin of those systems? What is the way of heart? What is the way of mind? What is the way of will? Is the way of heart the same vehicle, the same feeling, the same stream, the same emanation as the way of mind? Maybe here I go through ecstasy, I go through drunkenness, I go through love, and here I go to, I mean, here wine and gold, but here I go through diamonds, I go through objectivity, clarity, precision, I go through crystals, awakening, you know, and here I go through embodiment, through suchness, or through eliminating everything except the suchness of being, Zen. So this is Zen. This is so these vehicles, these pathways, these essential archetypes. One religion use diamond, one religion use gold, one religion use white. These are vehicles and qualities that are essential for creation. It doesn't mean Zen, the way of belly center, is the way.
One way.
One way. And it's good. You want to build a house, you need foundation. You know? But if you want to make it beautiful, you need heart. You need the artist. Make nice windows and colors and light and design. And if you really want to do it, you need an architect who can plan it, design it. And so you need the engineer, you need the artist, you need the architect. All of them cooperate to create the palace you want to build. And the palace is this kingdom. And it's made of all those things. So for example, Rajneesh demolished those things, didn't replace them. You know? He didn't say, okay, if you let go of the way of Zen, you need to replace it by white essence and the citadel. Their way is the citadel and the white essence. You know?
Well, you know, as you say that, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm just thinking about, like, okay, so it's a spiritual community, and most spiritual communities have some sort of vow of poverty, or, you know, so he goes and he has, you know, 92 Rolls Royces, and he's got his Rolexes and these really fancy costumes, and with money that he took from students who had to give all of their money to go to Puda or the ranch.
Exactly.
And what was that breaking down?
Their attachment to the materialism.
Uh-huh.
But he became materialistic.
Attachment to the non-materialism of being spiritual?
Yes. Let go of the materialism, renounce it, and just come and connect to being. He went to extreme about that. He demolished so many idols, and those idols, from what I know and I perceive, they are essential domains, they're essential qualities. They are here to maintain creation, to maintain livelihood, to maintain guidance, to maintain sanity. Not everybody goes in the absolute and be in that. Then what? The absolute needs arms and legs and head and eyes. It doesn't do anything. It created all of this, or we created from it all of those domains, essential domains, physical domains, mental, ethereal, all of these.
That's a big statement there. We created them.
Yeah, or we created them, really.
Well,
maybe we
are. Some people would argue with that.
Oh, many. I used to argue with me too, but I say it's possible. It's really possible. I know if we didn't create them, I know that we are still creating from the absolute. Really, we can create now the knowledge now to reach the absolute through psychodynamics, through psychology, and through body work. It wasn't there in the Tibetan. It's not there in the Sufi. They don't know about object relation. They don't know about ego psychology, developmental psychology. They don't know this. So there's a new vehicle now, a new age psychology that can suit modern man, and help give him structures, and also help liberate him from structures to reach the being. But we need structures. So when he demolished those structures, he demolished the temple. God created the temple. There is a temple. The temple is the stupa, made of many vehicles inside. And he created a kingdom of light structure that generate from the absolute light and essence, which is the holy city. These are archetypes existing, fundamentally existing. To transcend them is a disaster. It's just going and transcending them, and not like walking the ladder step by step and descending the ladder step by step. This is how the kingdom is built. Elegantly, beautifully, meaningfully. That's so we can have a body, we can have a soul, we can have a mind, we can enjoy all of this, and we can come and go. But his addiction to the absolute made him overlook the archetype that he was demolishing in those religions. He didn't say that the Tibetan is the way of the stupa, the Sufi is the way of the green and gold, and the Zen is the way. Then they can integrate the white. So when I went taught the essential domain, many Sufis flocked, because they had those states and nobody told them these are essential states. They looked at them as just something to transcend and something to leave, including that. Many men and women tied the tubes, the women and the men did vasectomy, because they believe that children start on the way to enlightenment. Wow. And I know that women in 9 months can go to enlightenment, realization, actualization, all of this in 9 months. It just has to be conscious pregnancy.
Childbirth is one of the most transcendent moments of any person's life, I think.
Childbirth, the pregnancy, 9 months, essential state circulating, realization circulating, another soul is there, building a body, the whole creation since the beginning of time happening in 9 months. And it's opportunity, like when my wife went through it, my spiritual evolution speeded up in 9 months. It took me 30 years to get to it. With her, it was 9 months. Like, my God, here's a chandelier, here's a pearl, here's a gold. All is happening. We just needed to catch it, to name it. And I learned so much through that. So the result of that, many of those women got deprived from having children. Many men didn't have it, and it led to, predators, and women became just, mostly for the entertainment of men. Men are predators, and so that they have women, they don't have to impregnate them. So it's nice, they could enjoy. Lots of things happened. He destroyed the temple. He didn't say, we let go of the false temples. These are religions that are fake temples, but their origin was a temple, a holy temple. You know, the holy temple is the stupa, in which it has the cathedral, it has the Kaaba, it has the citadel, as a Maha structure, magnificent structure, has the major essential vehicles in it. And this chariot, the sweet chariot, swing low, sweet chariot, is the human soul. Yeah. And it's created within, and it's created in the cosmos, in the hidden realm. And instead of transcending it, looking at it, seeing the meaning of it, integrating it through worship, through all of those things. So many of them lost the structures that they have, but they were not replaced by healthy structure. So I remember when I introduced, in 96, introduced the essential domain in Europe, and many of my friends came, sannyasin, to study. It was saying, oh, we knew this, we knew this, we knew this, but they were not named, they were not told what's it about. So the whole journey of the Dhamma Logos became integration instead of transcendence.
Beautiful.
Very beautiful. So this is when a teacher or a guru demolish systems or structures, the same like in psychology. If I just destroy the structure in the person, and instead of allowing it to unwind and feel and go into the hole underneath it, and then retrieve the quality that got lost, that is represented by the structure, the people will be fragmented. They have no structure, they have no guidance. They have to be connected to guidance. They have to be connected to the qualities of essence and being. So this is one. Another one is that the obsession of some of those teachers, with trying to explain everything as the absolute. And there is this one of the new age teachers, I'm not going to mention his name, he's brilliant. He's a 5 in the Enneagram. He's brilliant. He can take one concept and unwind it and ruffle it, and he sees underneath it is the absolute. Yes, underneath is the absolute. But where does this idea come from? What does it do? What does it generate? He was not interested in what it does. He was interested that all of it is just, if I can take what your mind is about and unwind it, then you will reach the absolute. Hallelujah. That's true. But why my mind is this way? And why am I so narcissist? Why I can't sleep without thinking of myself? And all of these things that we have, they have meaning. It's not just unwind them, dissolve them, and reach the void and reach the absolute. It's necessary to do that, but it's also to see, why do we have those things here? Do they correspond to another realm, another dimensions, another qualities? They bypassed the essential domain with all its richness. So this guy, I listened to him a couple of times. People read his books. I can't stand him. He is another 5, like too much for me. And they're teachers, and they never they got in the quicksand of the absolute. They spin or like a gerbil, spinning in the absolute, spinning their mind, spinning their concept, their belief system, and always orienting about the absolute. And it's okay, but it's bypassing the intermediary realms of this kingdom and of this realm.
Faisal, just question there, when you say they're bypassing the essential realms, I always think of, like, when I think of like Eckhart Tolle and maybe Adyashanti and some of the non-dual teachers, where to me it's like they bypass a lot of the psychology, right? So when you say they're bypassing the essential realms, if you could put some language to that, I think.
Bypassing the psychological domain. And mostly even negating it, and even negating there is a self, and all of those things. They are subtly negating that this psychological domain is a representation of another domain, and that if I look at the symbolism of the psychological issue and symbolism of the psychological issue, I might understand what am I trying to imitate. If I am obsessed with anger, rageaholic. Why am I like that? Yes, maybe there are issues about anger, and I'm just angry, but maybe the rageaholic underneath it, there is a quality that the angry person is trying to reach. And this quality, we discover that it has to do with the red essence. That the one who is raging cannot feel red essence. They flare up and it's shut down. They flare up and they shut down. Something is blocking them. So when they can deal with the issue, why are you not going all the way with your anger to the energy of it? Then the energy comes and they feel heat and they feel warm and they feel, I'm not angry anymore. I am strong now. But before I was like a child throwing a tantrum. So the rageaholic goes away. And somebody is always depressed and always depressed. And then we go into the depression. Then they feel how much they're hurt. They're covering, and then the crying comes. And the crying comes, then comes something sweet, something soothing, green essence, golden essence. Then the depression goes away. Then the melancholy goes away, all of those things. So we take the psychological domain, the psychological issues, we sort it out, and we discover underneath it, there are qualities. Those qualities are qualities of our soul. These are qualities what we call our essence, strength or beauty or sweetness or love or clarity. These are qualities of essence that we have name for them, and they have colors and textures. And the essential domain was never revealed so much, and that's why in our videos I am spelling out the beans. I want to make it known. This is what is here. Why are we making it's homey things? Like, Shirley MacLaine, when she brought yoga. Now yoga is normal. So I really want to inject the human consciousness, the listeners, with terminologies of the essential domain. A new language come in. I feel sweet. I feel melted. I feel my golden essence. Oh, nice. I'm familiar. It just feels warm and soft and sweet. And so those ones, Eckhart Tolle, and these are some of the ones I'm talking about now. These are the new teachers and gurus. So one of them, I think some people know, you just mentioned, he always goes this thing, very intelligent, to undo the psychological issues without dealing with them, to go to the absolute. And you know how much I love Christ, and so I saw a video about one of his videos about talking about the kingdom of heaven and Christ. I said, oh, fascinating. I am fascinated with this and the kingdom of heaven. I have an idea about it. Is it the same? Can I learn more and enrich more? Am I lost? And does he have an insight? So I listened to the videos, and he goes cleverly about the heaven and the kingdom of heaven and what Christ said. And it is not the realm that we think it is. And it's not heaven that's mentioned in the religion. And so he negated, deleted, took all the boxes and deleted them.
Oh, wow.
And then he reached that the kingdom of heaven that Christ was about is the being itself. Why didn't Christ say, why a kingdom of heaven? Why did he say being? The Father. He said it. Why does he now say kingdom? Kingdom means kingdom. Right? Means has structures, has law and order, has functionality. So he completely missed Jerusalem, the holy city. He didn't even read the Bible, the last book of Revelation, when John the Divine says after the seventh trumpet, after Armageddon is the sixth trumpet, which I think we are in the Armageddon now. And I hope we survive it. After that is gone, after it was resolved, the seventh trumpet, the angel blows the seventh trumpet, and Jerusalem descends from heaven on earth. A city of light. It has 12 gates, rivers of water, healing waters, trees of healing agent, diamonds and gold. Beautiful vision. I see it. I go to it. My student go to it. We bring it back. It has specific psychological issues, and we can be in the kingdom of heaven on earth. And that's what the Christ said. He didn't say the kingdom of heaven in the ascended domain, on earth. And it's not about just walking the absolute. Walking among humanity, our body, our soul, our psyche, how to derive blessings from the kingdom of heaven, actualize it in this world. You know, he got me. No more. I'm not going to listen to that. You know, how could you deny all the spiritual domains and all the glory of this kingdom and just go to the absolute? Because he's a 5, the healing of his mind is he is plagued, all those 5, 6, 7 the enneagram, plagued by a disease which is called mind. They are caught in the mental, intellectual, conceptualized mind. Their whole structure inside a nervous system filled with concepts and ideas. So if they can go into their nervous system and undo the many blockages in it, and every many blockage will open a dimension of essence. But I am not caught in the nervous system. I am caught in the muscular system. I'm a 4. So by undoing the muscular system, I need different approach. I need breathing, I need action, I don't need, you know, and it takes me to juices, it takes me to richness, all of those things, and the richness take me to the source. And from the source, I bring richness. So the 3 corner of the enneagram, the intellectual corner, look at the whole approach as through, if you can undo the mind, then you reach source. True. But how about the rest of the kingdom? And the 2, 3, 4 is about the journey of the soul in this kingdom. It's not about the mind seeing its nature. Because they are so obsessed with mind, like they have a headache, constant headache, they want to undo it to this. I have heartache. I feel like I'm caught in my emotions. I have to undo my emotions. Then I open my heart. Then my spirit comes forward. Then my ego subsides because my ego was playing my spirit, you know, replacing my spirit. Then I understand my psychological issues and I enter the kingdom from the alpha to the omega, you know. And somebody 1, 8, 9, they are caught in body and physical universe and materialization and all. And if they let go, they begin to open up to more openness and more light and more. We are magnificent being, but 2, 3, 4, when they get enlightened, then they might emphasize the journey of the point of light, which I do, you know. But I try to integrate the totality. And the 5, 6, 7 emphasize the absolute. And the 1, 8, 9 emphasize suchness and embodiment like Zen and other systems. To look at them that these are emphases. It is not it's not reality. It's one dimension of reality. So I learn from Zen, the suchness, the embodiment. I learn from the Sufi and the heart and the Christ, the way of the heart and love and, you know, glory. And I learn from Buddha and all of this and the Christ too, that the mind and the nature of the mind and how to purify it and make it a shining mirror again. But I have to let go of my preference. I have to let go of I am always going to the absolute, or I am always going to the point of light, or I am always going to the body. I have to integrate all of that. And when I integrate all of that, then I enter the kingdom of the heaven and the material and in the transcendent is all here. And that's why Christ didn't negate anything. He didn't say, I'm just the Father. I am the Son and the Father. I am the Alpha and the Omega with everything in between. Everything in between. And I am the light. Yes, the light. I am the absolute and the light. And I am the way. I am the stupa. I am the embodiment. I am walking the walk. I am walking the walk. You know, I'm the way. And I am the truth. I am the light. I am the point of light. I am the way. I am the stupa. I am the truth. I am the absolute. He labeled it. It's all existing here. You know. So those young ones addicted to their own preferences and twisting the arm of the spiritual journey to go only one way. And students who are fascinated by them could be the same kind of corner, and they enjoy it. And others used to suffer from it, like in Rudwan. When I was there at that time, people got clobbered by the intensity of the intellect and the issues and the complexity, because 2, 3, 4, they don't want to think about it so much. They want to cry, they want to dance it, they want to do something about it. And 9 want to embody it. They cannot think. We had to send them to take courses in logic or math to build intellect. No, it's not the way. They need another way. We will all go to source. You know, but source is not the only thing here. There is a kingdom. Source, essential domain, relative reality, they are all interwoven. Like a lotus, roots in the mud, stem in the water, flower in the sunshine.
Oh, beautiful.
So it's restful for me when that happens, like, my God. The same thing that they emphasize, the absolute is oneness, only one. Yes, it has the effect of oneness, unified, all of those things. But the absolute is dual.
Right. Not one, not two.
Yeah. And it has the yin and yang, and has the male and female. It has the radiance and the deep, the void and the fullness. And why don't we open up and let go of our views and see what is here? It's a majestic kingdom. So I hope many of those teachers balance a little bit in their extremities about it, and the student open up that this is not the way. It's always about that. Spirituality is not about transcendence. Transcendence and eminence, that's the Christ on the cross. The vertical line is eminence. The vertical line is transcendence. The horizontal line is eminence. And I am on the cross where they meet, the relative and the absolute meet. This is the human being. That's the symbol of the Christ on the cross. And to be in that position is not easy, but it's glorious. It's immense suffering. That's the suffering in the Christ on the cross. You know, so it's to me like, wow, such majestic, and to negate the whole kingdom, the holy city, the essential domain, my God,
Faisal, what do you think about Sadhguru?
I mean, he's a very clever fellow. He's brilliant in his mind and all of those things, full of baloney sometimes, full of so many belief systems. And, he's clever with seeing the mind and exposing the mind and the belief system and all of those things. But he also has his own beliefs about reality. I think he may be 7 and he sees reality and all of this, or an 8, and he's defining it that way. And he glorious. That's what I mean. They are some of them really amazing. They have abundance and glory, but the abundance and glory get drunkard by the ego and the fixation and the momentum of the soul development. That's why, I pray day and night, may I be here when the one who knows it, who is the Alpha and the Omega, comes. I still pray from the depth of my heart and soul before I die. I'm getting old. I don't want to die before I see the day that the Lord comes. And he will reveal to us this kingdom and how things happen. We're having glimpses. Today we have a glimpse about the mechanism of creation, about the Lataif, about this, about that. These are glimpses. These are illuminating, but I know there is more to come. Really more to come. And I know he and his entourage, all those high beings, will come to guide us and to tell us what are we living in. It's not like we're all going to go to heaven and transcend and be in the absolute. No, we are building a kingdom. How to build it magnificently, how to build it gloriously, how to minimize the pain and the suffering of being here. How not to separate from our nature and from our essence, and still in our bodies with our loved ones.
May it be so.
May we all land again, not transcend, but land. Our feet touch this earth.
Thank you, Faisal.
Yeah, thanks, Shelley. Thanks for all of this.